Hi everyone, this is Lindsay here. Today we're going to be looking at how do I use negative indices. Before we start the lesson, I'd like to recap some of the work that we've done previously this term on estimating and on lowest common multiple. To try these questions, pause the video and play the video when you're ready to go through the solution. Okay, so when we're estimating, we round to one significant figure. So this would be approximately 600 over 5 multiplied by 10, which is the same as 600 over 50 cancel out the zeros, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. Rub that out so we can do B. $48 to one significant figure is 50, $76 to one significant figure is 80, and $198 to one significant figure is 200. 50 multiplied by 80 is, well, 5 multiplied by 8 is 40, then add the 2 zeros. So we've got 4,000 divided by 200. Cancel out this 0, cancel out this 0, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. For part C, 5.7 rounded to one significant figure is 6, 2.79 rounded to one significant figure is 3, and 2 plus 7, that gives me 9 over 9, and 9 divided by 9 is 1. Part D, 44 to one significant figure is 40, 5.8 to one significant figure is 6, 0.19 to one significant figure is 0.2, 4 times 6 is 24, add the zeros, 240 over 0.2. Now that's the same as 240 multiplied by 5. In this case, I'm going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 10 to get an equivalent fraction. So this fraction has exactly the same value as this fraction, and 2,400 divided by 2 is 1,200. Okay, so I want to find the lowest common multiple of 3, 8 and 11, because we want to know when they all flash at the same time again. So 3 as a product of its prime factors is just 3. 8 as a product of its prime factors is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, and 11 as a product of its prime factors is 11. Now they have no common factors. If I'm filling in my Venn diagram, I'll call this 3, 8 and 11. There are none in common. There's a factor 11 here, 2 times 2 times 2 here, and 3 here. So the lowest common multiple would be all of the numbers in the Venn multiplied together. So 11 multiplied by 3, multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2, which gives me 33, 66, 132, 264. So the lowest common multiple is 264. So after how many seconds will they all flash at the same time? Well, the answer is 264 seconds. Okay, the next question. Mary is organising a charity hot dog sale. There are 18 bread rolls in each packet. There are 15 hot dogs in each packet. Mary buys exactly the same number of bread rolls as hot dogs. What is the smallest number of each packet that she could buy? Now for this question, I'm going to try listing them out, see if I can get the lowest common multiple that way. But you could use either method. Okay, 18, 36, 54, 72, 90. Aha! So the lowest common multiple here is 90. So the smallest number of each packet that she can buy, well, she needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packets of bread rolls. No, 6 packets of hot dogs. Because they come in packs of 15. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 packets of bread rolls. Notice the answer here isn't 90. We're not asking how many hot dogs and bread rolls is needed. We're being asked how many packets are needed. Okay, I'd like you to watch and pay close attention here and look out for a pattern as I'm answering these questions. You guys should know how to answer these anyway. 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. 2 squared is 4. 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 to the power of 0 is 1. What's happening each time is we're dividing by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8, divided by 2 is 4, divided by 2 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. 2 to the power of 0 is 1. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. 3 cubed is 27. 3 squared is 9. 3 to the power of 1 is 3. So here, what are we dividing by each time? Dividing by 3 each time. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 to the power of 0 is 1. Negative 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Negative 3 cubed is negative 27. Negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 to the power of 1 is negative 3. What's the pattern? We're dividing by negative 3 every time. And negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. Here we've worked out a new rule. X to the power of 0 is equal to 1, where x is any non-zero number. So basically anything to the power of 0 apart from 0 is 1. You have a go at these then. All of the answers are 1 because these numbers are all raised to the power of 0. Okay, let's have a go at pattern spotting here. I'm going to write down the answers. You may not know these, so I'm going to write them down. One over 6, 1 over 7, 1 over 8, 1 over 9, 1 over 10. What's the pattern? What do you think these three would be? 1 over 7, 1 over 8, 1 over 9. What would 11 to the power of negative 1 be? 1 over 11. So anytime you raise a number to the power of negative 1, we just do the reciprocal of that number. In other words, 1 divided by that number. So what happens down here then? What's the reciprocal of 1/2? The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1, which is just 2. What's the reciprocal of 3/4? 4 over 3. You flip the fraction, because 1 divided by 1/2 is 2, and 1 divided by 3/4 is 4/3. Okay, let's try some pattern spotting here then. 2 to the power of negative 2 is 1 over 4, 1 over 9, 1 over 16, 1 over 25. What do we think this one would be? 1 over 36, 1 over 49, 1 over 64, 1 over 81, and 1 over 100. 4 and 16 over 9. What have I done for these ones? Well, I've found the reciprocal and then raised it to the power of 2. I've found the reciprocal and then squared it. So you'll notice that all of these answers on the right are the answers on the left squared. What do you think it would be if I raised it to the power negative 3? It would be the reciprocal cubed. Here's a rule that you can copy down. X to the power of negative n equals 1 over x to the power of n. Try these ones. 1 over 11, 1 over 11 squared, which is 1 over 121, 1 over 12. We could say to the power 1, but we know that would give us the same answer. 1 over 12 squared, which is 1 over 144. 1 over 12 cubed, which is 1 over, I have to use a calculator here. I don't know what 12 cubed is off the top of my head. 12 multiplied by 12 multiplied by 12, 1,728. Of course, if it was in a non-calculator paper, I'd do a little written calculation over here. Okay, what's 3 to the power of 0? 1. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. 5 to the power of negative 1. This is really common for people to think that the answer is negative. That's not what this means. This isn't multiplying by negative 1. It means the reciprocal of 5. 3 to the power of negative 2, 1 over 3 all squared, which gives me 1 over 9. 27 to the power of negative 1 will be 1 over 27. Negative 2 to the power of negative 3, but the reciprocal of negative 2 is negative a half. If we raise that to the power 3, negative a half times negative a half is a quarter. Multiply by negative a half again, negative 1/8. This would be 1 over 4 all squared, which is 1 over 16. The reciprocal of 2/5 is 5 over 2. We've just flipped the fraction. The reciprocal of 0.8, well 0.8 is the same as 4/5. And the reciprocal of 4/5 is 5/4. We've done that question already. Yes, we've done that one, so we'll skip it. Brilliant. I'd like you to try these questions now. Write the questions down on your paper or in your book and write the answers, and then we will show you the answers shortly after. Here we go. Check your answers. If there's any difficult ones, go back and try them again. I'm going to go back to the questions, and if there are any that are particularly tricky, I'll go through those ones. These ones here should be quite straightforward. I'll go through a couple of these. 1 over 49 is the same as 1 over 7 squared. And if I want to bring that power up, that would be 7 to the power of negative 2. 1 over 81 is the same as 1 over 9 squared, which is the same as 9 to the power of negative 2. Okay, so here we've got to add fractions. 1/4 plus 1/3. When we add fractions, we want a common denominator, so we want 12 and 12. An equivalent fraction, 1/4, would be the same as 3/12, and multiply that by 3. 1/3 would be the same as 4/12, I need to multiply that by 4. So the answer to 3/8 is 7/12. If you found question 3 difficult or got a lot of the answers wrong, perhaps you need to revise adding fractions, because that's an extra element of that question. 4, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, 1 plus 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. Okay, so here the best thing to do is convert the decimals to fractions. So 0.1 is the same as 1 over 10, which is 10 to the power of negative 1. 0.25 is the same as 1/4, which is the same as 1 over 2 squared, which is the same as 2 to the power of negative 2. 1 over 8 is the same as 1 over 2 cubed, which is 2 to the power of negative 3. 1 over 81 is the same as 1 over 9 squared, which is the same as 9 to the power of negative 2. And question 10, if a equals b cubed and b equals 1 over c squared, express a as a power of c. So we want to substitute b into a. So instead of b cubed, I'll say 1 over c squared cubed. 1 cubed is 1. C squared cubed would be c to the 6. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. We don't want a fraction in our answer, so that's the same as c to the power of negative 6. Okay, that's the end of the lesson. Hopefully you guys all did absolutely fantastic. Well done.